This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just want to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. Trigger warning. On this episode of the Mocha Minutes Podcast, sexual assault is discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. I am Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm recording this before I have no problem saying this, my 42nd birthday. I'm doing this, and then I'm going on a little bit of a vacation from work and or life. Not really life. It's just more like just relaxing and taking some time away because brain has been a little bit fried as of late for the last couple of months. But very excited. If I have more energy to sing, I might sing towards the end of this episode. But I have somebody with me I love talking to her because she loves saying unpopular opinion. And I'm like, that doesn't sound all that unpopular. It's like, I feel like that's very popular. But I have one of my favorite people to talk to about the boat show, about Bravo, about life in general. I have Victoria Wood, aka Bibliolifestyle. She knows everything about books. She's making me want to read more mystery books or books in general. So you definitely should follow her. But welcome to Mocha Minutes, Victoria. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I love chatting to you too, and I'm happy I made it to the podcast.
You did? I was like, yeah. I'm like, y'all don't understand. So the reason why I literally is like Victoria is because this started out because of Carlos King's interview with Nene and it being 2 parts. Mm-hmm. And then other stuff happened at Bravo, and I was like, girl, what is my God today?
There are just so much things going on. Bravo's crazy. We have some book talk things. We have real things. I mean, the world is wild. It's wild.
Like, what is happening today? I'm like, can y'all slow it down? It's like, slow it down. Slow it down. I need time. So we're going to start with Bravo. Because I definitely had to bring Victoria here for this Bravo, because we would be like looking at these things like, girl, what's going on? So I am a very big fan of the boat show. I'm such a big fan of the boat show. There is an Instagram handle that has me blocked because I said something like, y'all need to stop being racist up in here. And they blocked me because they were being weird about Black deck crew and deck stews. And I was like, y'all need to stop this right now. So yeah, there's an IG handle that has me blocked. It's fine. I own it. I own it. And I'm like, I don't care. I do not care. Y'all can block me, but I'm right. So shut up. So we've had Below Deck Sailing Yacht the latest season. I need to catch up. And Below Deck Down Under has moved from Peacock to Bravo. I guess it's come up to the big leagues. So for me, the start of the season, they say it's Captain Lee. I beg to differ. It is Captain Jason from Down Under, because I just kind of like him, just like him.
So he is a good looking man. I'm just saying.
So fine. I'm like, I was like, I don't know about Down Under. I'm not exactly sure. And then he was on Watch What Happens Live, and I was like, that's the captain from Down Under. Okay, so let me go watch it. Okay, let me go watch it. I love it. Let me go watch it. So Below Deck Down Under is up to episode 6 of the new season. And Captain Jason has fired 2 people within 2 hours. So on my I had watched it on demand because I had not set my DVR yet for Down Under. So I was like, why is this 2 hours? Because I started seeing clips from my favorite Bravo IGs and TikToks with what happened on their latest episode, episode 6. And I was like, what is happening on this show and why are they losing their minds? So in one episode that's about 2 hours, a deckhand and a stew got fired around the same thing, which is trigger warning, sexual assault, attempted sexual assault, sexual harassment, and inappropriate behavior. So this is only season 2 of Below Deck Down Under. If anybody remembers Aisha from the Below Deck universe or the Deckiverse, I don't know what we're calling it. Aisha has been second stew, third stew. Now she's chief stew Down Under. She's a great chief stew, but she has a second stew. I couldn't remember which she's first or second name. Laura. Laura is very, very interesting. She'll say that I am tired, but then when she's like, let's talk about like your schedule and saying you're tired. I'm not tired. I'm like, you literally just said that. But Laura has taken a liking to a deckhand named Adam, where she will keep touching him inappropriately. He's like, hey, can you cool it? Hands off. Can you stop? He's like literally said, no, can't we just be friends? Can't we just be cool? They had went out. He had gotten a little bit drunk, as everybody does, because hello, free drinks. Well, actually, no. First round's on Bravo, and after that, y'all have to pay for your own drinks. That is the word on the curb. So that's alleged. They have not said yes or no to that. So he's in the bed. She tried to climb up on the bed, try to give him a massage. She's like, I just want to climb up there. Producers had to literally say, come on down, come on down. They had to tell her to leave. So she's being inappropriate. The other side of this is that there was an incident between a deckhand by the name of Luke and the third stew, Margot. So Margot had so much to drink that she was passed out. So Aisha had helped her to bed, got her in the bed. Everybody was still kind of up except for Margot. Luke had decided to strip down, and there kept being an issue where the lights were going in and out. There was the power got stripped, the power went out, and then the boat lights were off. Justin. Captain Jason was asleep. So if you're asleep, you don't know that the lights are out. It's like it had a little alarm, but I don't know why he was sleeping through that. That's fine. Don't care. So deckhand Luke decided to strip down naked and get in a bed with a passed out Margot. All of a sudden, you see production yelling. They had masks on their face. Hey, you got to come down. You kind of go down. They're like, what? One of the producers literally had to tap him on his shoulder. Come on, man, you got to come down. And they got him out the bed. And then Luke tried to slam the door on production. They're like, nope, you can't have the door closed. You can't have the door closed. He literally was trying to keep the door closed. They had to pull him out. You hear production yelling. They go and get Aisha. Aisha's like, come on, production gets him out, makes him go to his room. Aisha gets in bed with Margot. She's like, I don't feel comfortable leaving you by yourself. His roommate was Culver. Everybody remembers Culver from first season. Culver was locked, Luke locked him out of his room. Culver had to go sleep in one of the guest cabins. And that's what happened. So then Aisha went and knocked on Captain Jason's door. And then she, the more she talked about it, she started getting very upset. And Captain Jason thought something was wrong with her. She told him what happened. He said first, are you okay? He's like, it's okay, it's okay. So he went into the room because Luke had locked the door. He knows this Captain Jason. He said, come on, guy, you got to get up. Come get your stuff. You're going to go stay in a hotel for the night. He got him off the boat. He's like, oh, I'm fine. No, you have to get off the boat. Got him in a cab, sent him to a hotel. They paid for his hotel. The next day, Captain Jason set the whole team down and said, there was an incident last night. Luke is being fired. Luke got fired. They did not get to talk to him. Everybody was just like, wait, what happened? And they're all looking at Margot like, are you okay? Because then because Aisha had to tell Margot what happened. She didn't know. And then she's freaking out, wait a minute. What would have happened if you hadn't stepped in? And Aisha's like, but the thing about it is, this is so now I said 2 times, but this is the 3rd time that production had to step in to avoid a crisis. First time is the one that saved a bosun from drowning. Second is this, like, saving Margot from not being sexually assaulted, because they also were filming. The third is literally a deckhand, this is this boy's name, Adam, not getting sexually assaulted by Laura. I'm like, girl, what is happening on this boat?
I mean, where do we start? Well, the first
Like,
thing is
Lord.
clearly no one understands the definition of the word consent. Clearly no one understands boundaries. Now, full disclosure, I've been checked out of the boat show. So all my info is from Stephanie and, of course, People Magazine and all the lovely people who share clips on social media. Yeah. With that said, I mean, this is incredibly troubling. Now, number one, I think this is an indication to kind of let us know that production will step in when things kind of get too far. Yeah. I can't speak for Housewives, but at least, you know, on the boat show, they are willing to do that. So for that, I am grateful. But this is incredibly troubling. And here's the thing, and I know, Stephanie, you know this, but it's new to your listeners. My husband works in the marine industry as well. He is a captain. He has worked on many a yacht. A few charters in his, you know, work history, but mostly for private families. So they don't charter, it's just for the family. But, you know, he has that experience in the charter space. And honestly, just yachting in general, whether you're chartering or you're private, it's just such a small insular world that things feel really intense. And, you know, if someone fancies someone, it gets crazy fast. So relationships on a boat develop faster than anywhere else. Yeah. Unfortunately, alcohol is also part of the culture, not like they represent it on the show. Right. Technically, people shouldn't be drinking that much. However, it's a part of the culture. Right. Now, with that in mind, right, the lines get blurred. And things happen, and I feel so bad, especially for Aisha, because she too is a survivor. So she knows firsthand what is going on. She's protecting this girl. This guy is just an a-hole. I mean, dude, social cues. But I think what has troubled me the most is also Laura. I'm like, girl, you know, cues as well. Because the thing is, I think we focus a lot when it's a man and a woman, man doing the wrong thing. But in one show, we have a full display of not understanding consent, not understanding boundaries by both a male and a female. And again, this can happen with non-binary folks as well. So let's be very clear. But I think this is incredibly troubling. But I just think we have 2 bad actors in this case who are incredibly bad actors, because, you know, there are good people out here in these streets. And I think Aisha is proof of that. But this is part of the reason why they say no fishing in the company pond, because, sir, but I think I'm just really disturbed because this is more a case of consent, boundaries, taking advantage of someone, you know, when they're visibly passed out. I mean, it's troubling, and I'm happy Captain Jason did the right thing. It was the most appropriate thing. I mean, to just get him off the boat. Yes, it's like, nope, he gotta go. He has to go, because I'm really thinking about it, and I'm like, some people would have just let it slide till the morning. I applaud Captain Jason all round. 10 out of 10, will recommend. He got this man off the boat. He didn't even have him come back. You know, they had his things packed. I'm just like, yes, I support it 100%. And quite honestly, I'm happy he got rid of this girl too, because he is nipping it in the bud. And so when you see captains like this out there, because again, you know, again, having a husband who's in this field, and we have this really good friend that we have, she's a stew, and this girl has horror stories. You know, she's not a TV stew, she's just a real life stew out here in the street. And I'm telling you, man, boundaries, oof, these people have none. Yeah, because the thing about it is, I'm just sitting here like,
I'm sorry, what is going on? And y'all, there are other things. So the thing about the reason why Laura really got like canned is Captain Jason went into this long tirade about consent and trusting and boundaries. And so after that, because Margot, because it's like the other parts of the night was that Margot's like, I just want to go to bed. She said that to Aisha. Luke was like, no, let's go out. She's like, no, I just want to go to bed because she knew how drunk she was. She probably felt like she was going to get ill. And that's why Aisha is the one who put her to bed. It's like she had already verbally said, I do not want to do this with Luke. I just want to lay down. I've had way too much to drink. And so the fact that he came in there anyway is like, and the fact that the production crew, because I'm not sure how big the production crew is, they could have like put all the production on them in the jacuzzi. Because usually when they have a night out, all we see is really jacuzzi, and the people who are in the cabins we don't really see. So the fact that they followed in that and then was watching him, it's like, whoa, come out, and it was like, okay. So then Captain Jason the next morning is giving them this thing, they're giving them the speech and basically doing thing that is appropriate as a leader of a boat. Someone is saying like, hey, I think this could have happened. It's like, okay, well, he got to get off this boat until we figure this out. Yeah, because one, that is a fireable offense. I'm sitting here like, I'm not even Marine HR. And I can tell, I'm like, I am not maritime HR, but I can tell you somebody's getting fired. And it's like, and also, it's like, baby,
Yeah, and also production. I mean, this is a huge liability situation.
Especially if they had let it go. They're like, wait a minute, y'all filmed this and did not step in? Oh, they can get like, hello, lawsuit. We'll talk about Bethany later.
Yeah. Ooh, gosh, I have thoughts on
it's like, girl, fuck. It's like, girl, fuck you. God, this raggedy hoe. If you, where's the, I need a horse to kick you. I'm kidding. I'm partly kidding about that. So after like Captain Jason had the meeting, Laura's like lamenting, like, oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna say goodbye to Luke. And it's like girl around her looking like, wait, what?
Read the room.
And then Margot was just like sitting, they were sitting there cleaning, and Margot's just saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what would have happened. And Laura's like, well, what happened? Because she was like, she told Aisha, I asked her, was she okay? And I think that's what she said also to Captain Jason. And it was like, yeah, it's like, ma'am, you may have asked her okay, but when she told you what would have happened, you're like, oh, well, he should have just got in my bed because I would have welcomed him in. We ain't asked your fast ass what you would have did. Girl, read the room. Why would you say that to somebody who was literally inebriated, like literally cannot give informed consent even if she wanted to because she was passed out? So why would you say something like that? You need to get the fuck off my boat.
Yeah,
get off my boat.
She needed to go too. And again, I'm just so happy. This is another 10 out of 10. You know, Captain Jason's just like, we are not putting up with this. We don't want this environment. And then on top of it, so not only, right? See, here's the thing. Not only did she go to Margot and, you know, kind of, I don't even know what she was trying to do by telling this girl these things. Well, it was his fault. He should have come to me. But then she goes and offers a massage or is massaging or coming on
who is trying to sleep, and it's like, yeah, he couldn't put his hands on her. It's like, if he had knocked her off there and she had hit her head, they're like, oh, he assaulted me. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, you're going to feel bad. And it's like, well, he did ask you to back off.
I'm just like, it's a double offense, and you really don't want that around. So again, it's just, again, clean slate. You know, I know from experience, just even, you know, with my husband and giving feedback, you'd much rather be down a crew member or two than to have that negativity, that toxicity, that problematic behavior on board. I'm telling you, just get rid of them. Yes, it's going to be tough. Yes, it's going to be hard moving forward, but it's just everyone else that's left, I'm sure. And again, now I'm going to watch the show, but I think folks will feel a lot more lighter and at ease, and they will carry, you know, the burden of not having 2 extra crew members until they replace them, just to have peace of mind. Because can you imagine this reunion? I mean, first of all,
and theirs is always virtual. I'm like, see, this is going to be great. Y'all's is the only ones that really make sense to be virtual because y'all are
traveling and working
on a boat. Y'all on a boat, so it's like y'all might be in the middle of the ocean when we want to do the reunion. So it's kind of like theirs is the only that ever makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, so, you know what?
I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch the show, but these reports are just troubling. But again, I feel like, you know, Aisha is an angel in a way, because she, I can't even imagine just how triggering this was for her, but her feeling protective and just doing everything that she could. And of course, you know, Captain Jason being a leader, because when I read the People article, the girl is like, well, shouldn't he have gotten a second chance? And then saying, well,
When she
he
said it, it
made a
was like,
mistake with
girl,
firing.
what?
I'm like, what?
What?
Who are you?
A second chance to what? So this is not, it wasn't sexual assault, but it was on Below Deck Adventure, which I don't think is going to come back. I don't blame it. It was like, it's weird. Below Deck Adventure had some of the better excursions because it was in Norway, but it was like, yeah, get off the boat, because it's like, it seems like it's more interesting to go out. So they had two decks. They had two deckhands. One of them was like verbally abusive to their other roommate. And so it was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, because essentially he had went to, like, I think it was called the bosun on that boat, and said, look, can I just change room with this guy, because he seems a little bit unstable. Because he is like, say, make sure that, like, he like gotten, because there was one guy that was black, one was white, and the white guy would like literally like would keep the bathroom a mess, and the black guy's like, can you just keep it up? Like, yeah, he was like yelling, and the other crew could hear them like, what is his problem? He only asked the bosun to change rooms. They ended up firing him. But also, it's kind of like, part of it is they fired him and say, you're not going to have a strike on your record or whatever. I can't remember the exact phrasing they had. So it was kind of like they fired him, but they're like, it's not going to be like a strike. But the thing about it is, even in that is somewhat appropriate, because just changing rooms, I don't know if that would have just changed the issue. Because the thing about it is, he talked to the bosun, and then he didn't feel like the bosun was effective, so he went to the captain. And the captain is the one who fired him. And he's like, why would he go above me? I'm like, because it didn't really seem like you wanted to step in here. You were like, oh yeah, y'all could just talk it out. They were in close quarters being filmed on a boat. Somebody would have been fighting. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel like it would have been a scrap. And it's like, why would you want to list that in such tight quarters, where it's like you should trust your fellow man on a boat? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not a maritime HR. One of them has to go and choose the guy that's a little bit more combative. So even in that, the captain's like, you have to go, because I can't have this on this boat. So it's like, we can't have physically abusive, someone who may essay one of their own crew members and be like, oh, what's the problem? I'm like, what do you mean, what's the problem? And here's the thing that kind of scares me, not even that it's production. Why do I have the feeling that's not the first time he's done that? And there is no crew. There's no production. I'm like, this don't seem like he's like, this is a one-off. It's like, that's the part that kind of creeped me out. I have no proof. This is just my opinion. Y'all can just come at me if you want. However, why do I feel like this is not the first time you did this shit?
My question is, why did you feel so comfortable doing that? So that's an indication to me this is not new, because again, who would do that? I don't know. It doesn't feel right. But I guess I'm loving at least that they're not tolerating this behavior. I do think the show kind of teeters on the line of what is acceptable in reality, which is, my husband will let you go if you're drinking on this boat. But no, it's dead serious. And I have horror stories. He has horror stories.
That's the thing. When you told me that, I was like, wait, they be drinking on Below Deck. You're like, they are not supposed to be doing that. I'm like,
no, I think there's like, I don't even want to call it like a leeway or a let go, but it's part of the show, and you recognize, okay, you're filming a show and the people are bored. Know that you're filming a show, and there's just, show element. So there's some things that fly that wouldn't fly otherwise, and drinking is one of them. And I'm telling you, it could be in the middle of a trip. Once my husband makes it to a port, he is buying a plane ticket and he's sending whoever needs to go home. So that is a hard no, and they will do what they have to do until they get a replacement and the agency fills the spot. But I'm telling you, it's rough. But what I will say is, because the drinking does bother me on the show, but the fact that because again, it's a dangerous job. I know.
Like, if you're hungover or like,
it's not good. What's his name? The guy who almost had the drowning that time, because I watched that live.
I'm thinking, what was it, Joao?
No,
it's not. What's his name? Oh God, It's the
I'm
one who's
forgetting it.
Jazz. Yeah. Is it
Anyways,
Austin? Yeah, one of them.
See, that's a prime example of just accidents happen, and this is for real, and you have to be paying attention. So just think about it for a second. Your department, again, it's just like an airplane, right? When you're taking off and when you're landing, it's the most dangerous time, right?
Yeah.
It's common knowledge. It's the same thing with a boat. When you're docking and when
Mm-hmm.
you're leaving, it's the same thing. So I remember with the guy, what had happened to him was during a very dangerous evolution, which is towing. Towing, you have to have experience with it. I've seen things
Okay.
go good and things go bad, and everything is timing, and you have to be in a safe place to hook up. You have to be in a safe place to unhook. There's a lot of safety involved in it. There's also a lot of safety involved with the lines. So just imagine if someone was hungover, and not standing the lines, or not being able to get off the boat or get on the tender. It's just so many things can happen. You're hungover in your judgment because you have to be calling out feet or how far this is away, meters, whatever you're doing. So it's just, you have to be on your A game.
Yeah.
You have to be. So from a safety perspective, because again, being on boats is fun. I love it. I love the opportunity when I do get to be out with my husband, and it's amazing. It really is an amazing experience. However, it's also dangerous. And I remember seeing like Captain Lee being firm with certain things, like he just doesn't stop with certain things. And I know it's because he's been around long enough to see some really horrific things, because they happen. They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, this is season 2 of Down Under, and for me, Captain Jason is my stud of the sea, because he wasn't taking any shit on season 1. He damn sure. I'm like, yeah, that's the same time he fired 2 people in 1 episode. I'm like, okay,
I
so
love
the
it.
second time, I like, bitch, I love Captain Jason, but it's like he's like, first, he's very like, he's a good captain. Not saying that all these other captains are not good. Y'all know I got my issues with Sandy and Lee. Captain Carey from, I think his name was Carey for Adventure.
Bit,
I think that's like Adventure. And then Sailing God, I love like Captain Glenn, because Captain Glenn's want to be like
cool.
His crew fucks up. He's like, well, it's my fuck up. We fucked up, and that it's like, it's my fuck up. And it's like, you don't see a lot of captains doing that. He's like, it don't matter if I blame you. I'm the captain. It starts with me. I'm like, correct. I see a lot of people doing that. I'm like, kind of like Captain Jen, and he like watches some very interesting stuff. So I was like, that's fine. But when they said it got very dark, and I was just like, yeah, it could have got darker if production did not step in.
I know, but can you imagine if Aisha had walked in on something?
Right.
Because she had gone to get her something that in itself would have been traumatic for her.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just all around bad. I'm interested to kind of see the crew move forward after this. And I'm also interested to see the reunion. But in the meantime, I have 6 episodes to watch.
Hello? Because I was like, well, I guess I need to get caught up. The other thing, I feel like we're turning the corner. So another thing that I'm caught up on is Roni Refresh. I'm not calling it Roni. I'm just calling it Roni Refresh. And when I tell you, it seems like a totally different show.
It is.
That I absolutely am enjoying. The intro is better. The production seems to have stepped it up. Because first season of Roni, if anybody remembers the first iteration, it was very much around Jill and her fabulous friends and that Countess lady and her frenemy, Ramona, and then that poor girl that she knows from one of the Upper East Side named Bethany, who was on Celebrity Apprentice with Martha Stewart. It's kind of like it was around Jill. This, however, it's totally different, and I'm just like, wait, that's what we needed. Somebody who's into fucking fashion in fucking New York, and that is Jenna Lyons. Because I was like, when they talked about foils and anchors, I'm like, Jenna Lyons is an anchor. She really is. I'm like, and she's not trying to be. And it's like, guys, I'm old. My eyes are old. I have a early. When I tell you, when they like, why did she leave? Oh, I had a 6:00 meeting and y'all bitches were out. So I just went and stayed at my house. All right, I'm back. How y'all doing?
Listen, okay. Okay. I have to say, I am loving Roni Refresh. Now, I've been calling it Real Girlfriends of New York because
Oh my God, yes.
here's the thing. When they said they were rebooting Roni, I was nervous and I was excited.
Same.
And I struggled with the fact that I have in my head what Roni is and what Roni's supposed to be. Now, I also enjoyed, just for the la-di-da, the escape, Real Girlfriends of Paris. Now, they haven't brought that back, but when I saw this cast for Roni Refresh, I was like, okay, I like that the ages, you have some women in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. Great. I love the diversity in age.
Yes.
So that has been beautiful. But I was like, when I think of original housewives, these are married women housewives. I know we've deviated from that. So I'm like, why doesn't Bravo just own the Real Girlfriends and make that a franchise? Because you just want to see women who are friends. We don't have established relationships. We're getting to know each other. We're not all married. We're not all housewives. We all don't have children. So in my head, I'm calling it Real Girlfriends of New York. With that said, I am enjoying Real Girlfriends of New York. I am loving it. I agree with you. Production value A1. I didn't realize, and I hate to admit it because at first I was a bit, but I'm getting to know a new set of women. I'm really, really enjoying it. We're actually seeing an influencer who's made her name and brand, living a good life, who is basically a rags to riches story. And I'm like, yes, we need to see this. Someone from ground zero who made it on her own. I love that. I actually love the fact she separates her husband from her business, because she's like, listen, I was doing this, before we decided to lock things down. So I appreciate Sai's story in that regard. This most recent Roni episode, it was interesting getting to know Erin's background, that her family was in real estate. Bryn.
Oh my God, Bryn.
I was not a fan of Bryn.
Oh, so the thing about it is, when I first saw it, like when they had the intro the first time, because that was the other thing about this, like, Real Girlfriends of New York, Roni Refresh. When she had her intro, it was like they started out with the taglines, and I was like,
they did.
And I was like, I don't know about Bryn. And then I'm watching her, I'm like, I kind of like her. So it's like the ones that I like are, of course, my Jenna Boo, who cracks me up, Bryn, Uba, and Sai. And I'm like, of course I like, and it's like Jessel, she's there.
Okay,
she's there.
Hold on. Let me finish my rundown now. Bryn, I did not like Bryn for the first 3 episodes. I felt Bryn would try hard. I'm being honest. I did not gravitate towards her. It wasn't the tagline. I thought it was cheeky, but I wasn't a fan of how I was seeing her. But then getting her backstory, which this first, I thought she was mixed. But here's the thing.
Yeah, because I was waiting for that. I was like,
me too.
Wait a minute.
Bryn is that character or person, because she's a real person, but she presents this character of effervescence, bubbly, fun, flirty, good time. But it's really masking a lot of pain and hurt. And this is why I just want to use this moment, public service announcement, just because you see people out on these internet streets looking and doing well, there might be something deeper, darker behind it. It might be a supermarket, it might be your Uber, it might be anybody. But I'm just saying, Bryn gave me depth this past episode I was not expecting, and the story I got was also not one that I was expecting. I also loved hearing Uba's story, losing her mom, and just working and kind of feeling alone. And again, proof that you can have a fabulous life, you can have a large group of friends, and sometimes feel lonely in that space because you don't have your person around. And Jessel is actually quite interesting. Now, I felt this most recent episode, they were painting Jessel as the villain. Like, Jessel is the villain. I was trying to figure, who were they going to make the villain? And I think it's Jessel. I think the thing with Jessel, it makes her a good housewife, but also maybe not the best person, is she's so completely unaware
Mm-hmm.
She's unaware of how her words land with people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
her own husband was shaming her, but the thing is, shading, not shaming, shading her. But the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
he knows Jessel and accepts and loves her as she is. So it's
Yeah.
just a friend group to kind of understand Jessel's personality. But I also understand being the person in the friend group who can be a bit dry sometimes. But I think Jessel's story is important as well. And then, of course, Miss the Jenna Lyons.
Oh
I
my
love Jenna.
God.
I'm here for Jenna. Jenna is the most effortless on screen for me.
I love
The
her.
most effortless. I howled when she said, "Yeah, I shared that bit of information, but I wasn't intending to stir the pot." I'm like, Miss Bone Carrier,
He was
look
like,
at
it's
you.
old. When
It
she
was so
said
funny.
old lady brain almost fell out. I said, shut up, ma'am. Why are we like this? Why are you like this? I do agree with
It's
you
so
with that,
funny.
like Jessel. Jessel needs to be there because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
she, even though they try to like paint her as like she is the villain, I'm like, y'all,
I'm telling you, they are.
Aaron's the villain. Anyway,
Yes,
so
yes,
Aaron is the villain that y'all think Jessel is. But
correct.
it's like even with that, they kind of balance it out. And I really, yeah, last episode of Roni very much endeared me to Bryn because of what she said
Mm-hmm.
about going to get her hair done. I was like,
Ooh,
see, the thing about it is when you like, there are some, oh, Lord have mercy, can't believe I'm stepping into this, but there are some biracial Black people who may not know the Black side of their family or may not have like a
correct.
big relationship, who don't talk the way that Bryn talks. She literally actually was like, this was the highlight of my week to go be at a hair salon. She's like, it made my grandmother's like, yeah, because she didn't want to fuck up your hair. And thank goodness for that. But she
Mm-hmm.
was like, I didn't just look at it like this made my life easier. It was more like this was my entrance into Black women. And she actually appreciated. She like, you don't hear her shitting on Black women. She actually like, oh my
Mm-mm.
God, please bring me all the Black women around me because I didn't grow up
Mm-hmm.
with them. I didn't grow up with the Black side of my family. And that is
But
so
you know,
endearing. I'm like,
it was. But I also saw it as a place of safety,
correct.
right? Because I'm a full-on Black woman. You can't miss what I am when I step out in these streets. However, when you live in a predominantly white neighborhood or a
You
white
need that
space,
escape.
or you go to a predominantly white school, you need that escape. So I can
Yeah.
just imagine she was probably teased at school, even though not knowing where her parents were, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how she should identify and be. But she was probably really teased bad, but that one space was safe. Because, I mean, let's be real, Black women are incredibly nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
but also with the hair being so incredibly different, and then coming to this space, feeling safe,
Mm-hmm.
being around other Black people and Black women. And again, when you walk out of a salon, you feel good, you feel beautiful. It's a whole day affair.
Yeah.
You're chatting, you're listening, even if you're a young child and you're not really contributing, but you're listening, you're seeing things. I'm sure other women
Mm-hmm.
had other children. I just think it was a safe space. And for
Yeah.
that reason, even without you know her dad being Black and having that side of her family being completely unknown to her,
Mm-hmm.
I think many of us Black women, and when I say visibly Black dark-skinned women,
Mm-hmm.
find safety in the salon. I
Yeah.
think people can say that is an escape, that is safety, and then of course the added beauty element to it. But I think it was a safety thing too.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Because I think it's kind of like, it was just endearing because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a visibly Black woman too. And I, um, I enjoyed that time in the salon because I just like
Same,
it's very home. It's like I grew up
same.
like my cousin was my first, like other than my mother, it was my cousin who is a professional hairstylist. So going
Mm-hmm.
to her salon was always welcoming. I never felt othered. I never felt, and I'm saying
Yeah,
this as a Black woman. I'm like, I always felt warm and safe and welcome. And I think for someone who, to some people, she does not look Black. Not to
yeah.
us though, because we were like, wait a minute, what is
Mm-hmm.
it? I can see it, girl. What is it? What is it? I can see it. It's something. And when she said, I'm like, and there it is. But then it was just
Yeah,
endearing that I just liked Bryn because it's like other people who may be biracial Black and not have access to their Black side. They don't always talk this way. Like I'm
No,
talking
and
like a very much like I enjoy that one time a week that I get to spend around all this time with Black women because I don't get that the other 6 days of the week.
yeah, no, I appreciated it, and I know it's going to be painful for her, but I'm really excited. Maybe is not the right word, but I'm very open to getting to know Bryn some more because the truth is, like I said, first 3 episodes I was not vibing with her. I think she was cute, I think she was funny, but I felt she was doing too much. But to kind of see this depth, I was like, okay.
Like, okay, I can give her a shot because that whole argument they had was like, why are you more mad at me for not showing to a restaurant, but you're
Yes.
not mad at Jenna? I was like, well, because Jenna said, you're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. So can I have some cake?
Yeah, but you know what, too?
But it's like, I
I,
got what Bryn was saying. It's like, Bryn, I understand. But
I
I think it's because like
did.
Jenna walked in very apologetic. She's like, I'm sorry. I had to go.
Yes. Yes, correct. It was completely different approaches. And again, I was like, come on, brain. You're doing too much. At that point, I kind of felt like, okay,
Like, come on,
you've played,
girl, you're going to have to back off because,
yeah, you read the
ma'am.
housewife book, you were doing too much, but here's the thing now. Having the context I have,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we're going to get more next episode, but having the context that I have now with some of Bryn's background, I actually feel maybe she felt her treatment because, again, this is a girl who seems to be seeking approval.
Mm,
So for me, I was like, oh
right.
crap, maybe I jumped to conclusions when I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm doing too much, but maybe it was a trigger for her. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it would be very interesting again to kind of see how that unfolds at the reunion because I think it will be something they will be talking about because I think Bryn kind of gave us a little in when they had the introduction on the first Watch What Happens Live when they were there
Mm-hmm.
as a group. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, what was your big takeaway? She was like, don't trust Erin. And I remember that. So I'm
Yeah, because I
thinking,
didn't finish that Watch What Happens live episode. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get some episodes in because I'm like, y'all bringing the whole
mhm,
cast, and it was like just premiere night. I feel like we need to
yeah,
get like to the halfway point. Like, what is happening?
I know. I think the whole cast was an intro because I heard Bryn was on the Sundays Watch What Happens with
With
Marlo.
Marlo, I watched that one, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, you did.
I swear, it was like you could see Andy's thinking. Don't ever put
Mm,
Bren with Marlo on Watch What Happens Live because it was like one of the games, and literally it got away from him because they are drinking and thinking, "Look, we just having fun," and Andrew's like thinking in his head, "We have X amount of minutes." He got somebody in the ear saying, "We about to go to commercial break. We got to go to commercial
mhm.
break," and
Oh
it was
my
like,
gosh.
"Yeah, Bren can't be." I'm like, I don't know, may not be able to go um
Mhm.
back on this show with any of the Black women, but you know what I was thinking? This is randomly what I was thinking when I was looking at this because they talk about apples and peaches. I'm like, if OC has stronger ratings from last season, Roni could have followed them and it would have been apples and oranges on Watch What Happens Live. See, I
Mm.
have these kind of ideas. I'm like, it could have been apples and oranges if the oranges from last season were a lot stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Oh, I
saying.
can see it.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm loving Roni Refresh. I
Me
am just
too.
like, yes. I'm like, this is like, okay. So we got the apples, and let's talk about the peaches because the peaches
Yeah.
have been either too sweet, a little bit tart, or they have been rotten. And so I will be full disclosure about this season of Atlanta. I don't think it's a bad season.
I
I
don't either.
I think it really is just showing what I saw with what I'm seeing in Orange County and what I saw in Roni before the refresh, where it was like, y'all are getting long in the tooth and y'all need to fix this.
Mm.
It's like Roni did that. Remember when they did that half of the chop of the cast and it was like, oh, it's going to get
Yeah.
better. And then y'all added 75 people. It was like, what the hell? Like, no, this does not make it better. And then they just
Yeah.
scrapped the whole cast. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want them to scrap the whole cast. But baby, something got to give because it's like the talls versus the smalls was very cute because one, even with talls versus smalls, they still interacted. The vibe we got right now is like, girl, what?
So here's my take on Atlanta because, again, this is like all respect due to this franchise because it was one of my favorites for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time.
Yeah.
I love the show. I'm invested in this show. I've been with
Mm-hmm.
this show from season 1. with all that said, I felt biting into the peach this season. While I'm liking it, while the texture is familiar, it felt like it was missing some flavor. Now, as a Real Housewives of New Jersey fan here, I love New Jersey. It's dark, it's toxic, it's chaotic, it's all the things. I actually feel Atlanta is resembling New Jersey in a bit where there is a clear line down the middle and the team. So in the same way you have Team Teresa, Team Melissa, and you have Jennifer Aiden, the new girl Danielle, Dolo kind of hanging on Team Teresa, and then Melissa, you have Marge, the new girl Rachel, Jackie, and those folks. I think that's what we're seeing on Atlanta, where there's a clear alliance with Sonia and Marlo, and then you have Kenya and Candy and Drew's on that side. But I think that is the problem. There is this divide, and we have cousin Courtney, who quite honestly to me is like, oh, fuck, is an op. I don't care what anyone wants to say.
Okay, girl,
she is just no. And I think that's what the problem is. I think it's the teams is what's it's right now. And the fact that Marlo, so yes, I listened to Nini's conversation with Carlos King, and if Marlo is the person who's providing comic relief and is doing a lot on the show, I think there is a problem. I really do. And I actually think, and I hate to say, I think the problem, I don't know who is exactly the problem, but what I do know is we need a cast shake up, and I'm afraid. I am very afraid that Atlanta is going down the Roni rabbit hole where they're going to have to cast a completely new cast of friends. Because what's happening right now is just not working. Now, full disclosure, again, an unpopular opinion, I am enjoying the show. It's giving. I think the past 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes have been giving, whereas the first bit has been slow. I am enjoying it. It just feels too teamish, and that's not something I'm used to with Atlanta. I'm used to people floating between the groups. You know, this is where Cynthia Bailey, I was actually happy to see Cynthia. This is where having a cast member who can float between the groups, because I could see Cynthia floating between the groups, would be helpful. But I don't think bringing all cast members back is going to help. I also think bringing new people into this dynamic is going to be difficult. So I am enjoying my peaches, but I'm afraid that if this Roni reboot goes well, Atlanta might be next.
Yeah, because and when I think about the first chop they did with Roni, and it was kind of like it was down the middle, and it was like Jill on one side and Ramon on the other, and I remember people saying, like, who do you think they should get rid of? And I said, if you'd have told me they would have got rid of Jill and kept Ramona, I'd been like, absolutely not. That makes no sense to me. Why would you get rid of Jazarin? She is Roni. And they got rid of her. And now, unfortunately, I see if they do the big reboot, it's going to come down to, are we keeping Kenya or are we keeping Candy?
Why?
And the bad part about it is, I don't think both of them can be there. Here's the thing.
Why?
So this is my issue, and I hate saying it this way. So if we keep both of them, it's going to like insulate Candy and Kenya, and I think that's actually kind of fine. However, if Candy is the one they're going to get rid of, and by the way, I don't think they're ever going to do this. They have to keep up with, she is the longest running housewife on Bravo. Candy Burris Tucker. She's the longest. It's like, I don't think they're going to get rid of her. But it's kind of like, Candy can work with new people and work with old people. Unfortunately, Kenya can't. And I'm like, that's the part that I'm seeing that I'm like, oh God. And I think because Kenya, it seems like the person, like on Girls Trip, it made me look at her different. When she came back after getting married, I liked Kenya. When on Girls Trip, I'm like, see, yeah, Kenya the one I want to go on vacation with. I would have told you, girl, do not wear them spy slippers out on this marble and it's slick outside. That is literally a recipe of break your hip. Bust your tailbone. And the thing about it is, I'm watching Kenya, and it's kind of like, they're like, she drags people down. It's like, she don't drag y'all down. She don't like you bitches. There's the difference.
Yeah.
She
So here's
didn't
my
know
question
any of the
then.
girls on girls trip. She didn't know them heifers. All of them like her. They were complete strangers outside of Cynthia. And Cynthia thought she would have to insulate Kenya from those women, and come to find out, no, Kenya got to insulate you.
Yeah, that was very funny. So I guess my question is, on the Sheree and Marlo side, who would have to...
I'm already dreading this question. I'm like, oh, bro. Sheree is the one that's like, girl, we don't care. Go on. Girl, just go back to the chateau, please. Please go fuck Bubble Butt Martell, allegedly. Please leave us alone. Because Sheree, you are playing a very dangerous game with Stephanie. Now with Stephanie. Ma'am, Kenya, if you're like, I don't feel like I can trust Sanya because she's friends with Marlo, there's no way in any universe that you should be friends with Sheree.
I agree.
It's like, wait a minute, you can't be friends with Sanya, but you're friends with Sheree? It's like, same person.
See, for me, I think keeping Candy is so important. I think Kenya gives good television. Plus, I'm not ready to let go of Brooklyn. Selfishly,
I'm not either. That's why I'm like, I don't want them to do either or.
No,
I want to keep both, but I feel like
I want to keep both. Yeah.
They gotta. It's like, I would hate that they would keep one of like which one is like, I'm sorry, I'm going King Sugar
Candy.
Mama. I'm Team Sugar Mama on this. I'm like, I gotta keep her because one. Go ahead. What's your question?
Go on. Sorry. Go.
No, I was gonna say I like that what Candy brings with her. Everybody's like, she's so boring. I'm like, why? Because she's just normal. She like to fuck her man and eat food. I mean, I don't know. That seems fine to me. But she brings other stuff. One, she can bring other people in.
No, I think she can. No, I think she can. I think here's the other thing. I know people want drama and I know it's supposed to be entertainment, but I actually think Candy gives real life, because I kind of, with Marlo, things are a bit manufactured. I think with Sheree, it's manufactured. I even think she's very
controlled, and I think it's because of Mark.
Aware. Yes, and I just feel like until she gets that divorce, it's just, and it's final, and custody and everything is done. I think we're not going to get Kenya realness. I don't think we ever did. So for me, Candy is a person who shows up in her real life, because here's the thing, and people forget this. When you are a boss, the way Candy is, when you are a business owner, when you're running multiple businesses and you have all these things going, you are busy. That is your life. All this money doesn't materialize without success. Does it put a strain on your significant other? Yes. Absolutely. My husband and I are two very driven people. And sometimes who's away when and who's doing too much now and we don't have time for each other. Like, it is a constant. Your children feeling like you're never there. Like, I think Candy actually gives realness to the show. The only thing I miss about Candy is her mom. And I think Sonia actually gives authentic to the show. The problem is she's too busy up Sheree and Marlo. And she's almost like a lapdog, in my opinion, that she's not really shining.
And that's not who she is. That's the part.
It's so confusing.
Here's my unpopular opinion. I like Sanya. And she is giving the realness that a lot of them on that show are not. How many people are not? Like, the other person who showed us issues with their family was Candy. That's the other person that literally good, bad, and different. You knew, like, Mama Joyce is like, these raggedy asses out here absolutely are not good enough for my daughter. That was Candy's mama. And to extent, like, the stuff with saying, I like her as a housewife because, one, she's actually showing a lot of her life. A lot of the women on there are not, either they're not showing it or they're lying about it. Drew, Stella, Sadora. I'm like, I'm not doing this with you. So the thing about it is like, seeing Cynthia back is just like, this is the neutral party that y'all want. Sanya, this is what neutral looks like. Where Cynthia can be friends with Marlo and it don't fuck with Candy. She can be with Candy and it don't fuck with Kenya. It's like she can be neutral. Cynthia managed that in a way that anybody else on this show cannot. She was the queen of cheekbones and being neutral. Sanya demonstrated where she could be a little bit neutral in Portugal when she stuck up for Drew when Drew wasn't there. I'm like, Sanya, this is what Candy was talking about. Being actually neutral. I'm like, you and Drew are not in the best place. We don't really see y'all doing scenes together. But the fact that you stuck up for Drew is like, okay. And then also when it was having a conversation about Marlo v. Moneta, you were being fair. It's like, Marlo, you were out of pocket for doing it, but Moneta, so were you. It's like, that is actually kind of fair. It's like, man, you have like snippets of it. And then even a conversation with her sister. So the thing about it is, and I remember somebody else who worked with that sister and dug in that ass and said, no, you have a fucking job, do your job. And everybody's like, ooh, girl, you are a boss. Sanya just sat there like, you're right, I'm not doing it. Sanya, get your shit together. Y'all were fine when Peach Juice did. Literally said, you're my fucking employee. I don't care if we have the same daddy. It's like, y'all were fine with that for Portia. Because I'm like, that's kind of like something that was endearing for me. If someone's saying, you are letting me down and taking advantage of me, you're just going like, you're right, I am, and I am so sorry.
Yeah. No, I think...
from other people.
No, I'm glad you brought up the Portia comparison with Lauren, because I was just like, yeah, it's a similar thing here. I think Sanya could be. I don't think she is a good housewife right now, but she could be.
She has potential.
She has potential, but she needs to step outside of the shadow of Sheree and Marlo. She needs to take lessons from Cynthia Bailey if we see her returning next season, because I think, that would be helpful. Also, congratulations to her. She has a baby on the way. And
she looks beautiful.
Yeah, but she's going to learn a hard lesson if that sister has moved out, if the parents have moved out, because...
because the thing about it is the mama not going anywhere. But I think the other thing that got me was I was like, I had to put on my HR hat, and I'm like, now, thank you for recommending your sister and talking about work-life balance. Let me just be very clear. If Sanya was just your employer, you could not come to her like this. Like, you don't care about I don't care about your work-life balance. Get my shit done. I'm like, you think about this? You can say that because that is your sister. And you're like, you're going to give me a little bit of leeway? I'm like, Sanya definitely took advantage of the fact that it is your sister who is in your glam squad. However, mama, you also are taking advantage of the fact that your employer is your sister.
Yeah. I mean, look, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways, and I'm glad they talked it out.
Same. And I'm interested to kind of see where it goes. They're moving out, as in the sister. This new baby in the mix is going to change things up. And the sister's right. Like, you take for granted when you have someone at home, you can go off and do these things, and sometimes you forget. So I think Sonia has potential. Drew right now.
Oh, God.
I think it's like watching Scandival all over. Now looking for little hints and
here and there
to see what's going on. And I just, and I mean, even this past episode with Drew. So here's the thing, and I have to throw in some Candy speak on it, because
I love to speak on it with Cynthia. I really do. I like speak on it in general. Because even though Candy is not like Heavenly, where Heavenly is like, I don't watch the show and I'm just talking. I'm like, girl, wait, what the hell are you doing? What? Candy will actually say, wait, I don't think I can say that because y'all ain't seen it yet. She actually watches the show. And so tries to keep it to what we see. And if it's a little tea from behind the scenes, she might sprinkle it in.
Little sprinkle. And I appreciate it, because it all, it's her event, but she made it very clear. Like, correct. Latoya about it. So when Latoya said she was mad, it was about her not.
You just telling me the day before. It's like, okay,
just telling me, yes.
Yeah, so I'm like, that made more sense when she said it. I was like, okay, now that makes more sense.
Yes. Also, Drew is a whole actress sitting in what's
and scene
and scene, exactly. Because I was just like, girl, okay, you're playing into this a bit too much. You're clearly too comfortable. Clearly, you all had talks about it before. Because that would not be the natural interaction of you trying to make light of it. And let me be very clear, this isn't me being objective. I am Team Candy because I believe Candy, and I don't believe Candy to be a liar. Candy doesn't drink. There is no mistaking anything. And I feel production is kind of trying to imply Candy is lying.
The thing about it is very, very interesting, this whole thing. It's like, I'm sorry. Now I am leaning into the conspiracy theory that production got it out for Candy, because that makes no sense to me. Here's the thing. The whole thing with LaToya, I remember her saying they don't speak on it. Do not remember this Bravo Insider thing. I don't know if that was like the after show they were doing before. I think that's what they said. I don't remember this, but I damn sure remember that speak on it when LaToya flat out said that her and Drew kissed. And then it was like, wait a minute, which one is it? Uchiwali, one mic. Which one is it? It's like, Drew, you are reacting so very weird to this. I understood why Candy was pissed, because I'm the same way. What you're not going to do is call me a liar when I know for a fact I am not. I'm like, if you that's the thing. It's like, if you're saying I don't remember that, I think it's like, it wasn't even, she's like, it's not even that you don't really remember. It's you calling me a liar saying I'm making this up to sell a movie. It's like, what?
That was a reach. And that was a bit much for me. I think, here's the thing, Candy is a bit like me. If you want to let things slide, I'll let it slide. But don't call me a liar.
Just don't call me a liar. It's like, you don't have to call me a liar to do that. Also, it's like when she's like, Marlo, how you going to send that to LaToya? Well, you did kind of say in your video that LaToya liked to lie. You did kind of, you calling everybody a liar except your damn husband. Everybody lie. Everybody lying, everybody lying, except Ralph. It was like, even watching their after show when they talk about it, Candy, like, girl, I'm just trying to let this go. Agree to disagree. I'm not going to keep going down this with you, because Candy ain't backing down, and neither is Drew. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so then them being paired up don't make no sense. But it's like, Drew is not, like, the thing about it is, honestly, when you think about how the after show was like structured, Candy could have sat there by herself, because she do speak on it a lot of times by herself. So she could have did that by herself. And Kenya could have sat with Drew. Like, honestly. Because I'm like, why is Kenya separated?
So here's the thing with Drew. I think in some other universe, Drew likes Candy. I think Drew knows Candy isn't lying, but part of me is wondering, just like the same way with Kenya, and we're like, well, she's going through the divorce, and it's just, a lot for her right now, so she is trying to insulate herself. Part of me is wondering if that were the case with Drew, because a lot of Drew's reaction in the season right now is more than what the situation would warrant. So I'm wondering, okay, we're actively going through things in your marriage with Ralph. Were you on the brink? And all these other emotions are manifesting, even though you're suppressing them. So part of me is wondering, because here's the thing, they're in Georgia, innit? Yeah, and that's where Kim Zolciak was. And I think, don't quote me, but I think there is a fault to divorce. Like, you can divorce someone according to fault. You can have fault. You can have no fault. I don't know how things are set up and divided based on infidelity or perceived infidelity. Listen, I don't know. Alleged. But I'm wondering if Drew is also being cagey, because she too is going through a divorce.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't know if it was on Watch What Happens Live or it was the after show. Somebody was thinking, like, why would Drew lie? Basically, I'm putting this in quotes. Why would Drew lie? And Marlo said, it's probably because of her mama. I'm like, I don't think it is. I think it's because of Ralph. Because remember, when Ralph was on that speaker on it, he flat out said, nope, she denied it. It didn't happen. I'm like, the hell I would look like lying for the man who literally escaped to Tampa, the stripper capital of the nation, and decided that he ain't got to tell me where the fuck he been and why he's there. You lying for him?
No, I know.
It's like, girl, that man actually looked at you and said, I ain't got to tell you what I was doing in Tampa. I'm not telling you what's happening in Vegas. I'm not telling you. I'm like, I'm going to lie to your little, I'm going to lie to Josiah and say I'm adopting you. And, JK, no, I'm not. Which is why I'm like, God damn it, Marlo had a point. She had a mustard seed of a point. I was like, wait, because when she said it, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And then they did the flashback. I'm like, oh shit, they didn't tell him that. I'm like, nope, Marlo had a point. I was like, God dang it, she had a point. I'm like, no, that is a point. And it was like, yeah, I'm not even a child of adoption or foster care. And I'm like, no, why would you tell him that? And then go, JK, we're not gonna do it. I'm like, because you're like, oh no, he said no. I'm like, yeah, because you need the father's sign off. And he was like, wait a minute, what? He's not in jail forever. Like, he was not on life with no parole. He is out of jail, so there is no reason. I feel like if he was like failing, like he was never getting out of jail, he probably would consider it. But it's like, I'm here and I spent all these X amount of years away from my son. No, I'm not signing it over so you can adopt him. Shut up.
I don't know. And then here's the thing, to me, that speaks to someone's character. Allegedly, because I don't know this for a fact, but I think in his divorce petition, Ralph did not claim Josiah. So you know how you would basically outline, well, children, from the marriage kind of thing. I think he only did his too, as mentioned, So it's like he included Josiah. And for me, that was a bit, you are here writing a book about being a stepfather. You have been the most presence in this boy's life. I would hope you would still be, because you have 2 other children as well. They all have the same mother. I mean, why would you not mention him? Are you that cheap? Because, I mean, you don't even want to pay $100 extra to cover the other child? Like, I'm confused, sir. So I fall in a camp of, what does Ralph do for a living now?
I'm sorry. I'm going to say, wait, I'm like, what does he do?
Because that house looks nice. I got to say, the house
like, what does he do? It's like, why did Marlo say that? And yeah, sidebar. I want to know where Ralph got the unmitigated gall to literally text Marlo directly.
Ooh, okay. So that was giving. Oh
hell no! I was like, wait a minute, y'all said no man should be approaching no woman. Period. Correct. It was like, I thought that's what we said. I thought we had these rules. And I was like, Drew, I wish your raggedy ass. Listen here, Tampa. You better not ever in your life text me again. It's like, tell your I'm like, girl, filter your messages through your wife. Have a good day. I will block you. Have you lost your mind? It's like, and then when she was on the after show explaining, I'm like, why you make it seem like it wasn't like I just mentioned? I'm like, now I'm like, I don't know, because why would he? Has he ever messaged her before? Why is he DMing her? Why is he texting her? I'm like, what did you tell him? It's like,
yeah, their relationship or friendship or whatever ship it is was not very clear. And I'm like, why do you feel comfortable messaging her, sir? Like, even if Drew said so, my thing is, you can console your wife, you tell her, you tell her what she needs to hear in a moment, be supportive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Marlo is trash. You can say all that crap. But why would you text her directly? I'm okay with you trashing her on the phone. It's your wife. Do what you have to do. But to message her, that was a bit out of pocket. Again, I am team husbands need to stay out of the wives' businesses, or significant others in the case need to stay out of the main cast members' business. That's what I'm on.
Yeah, it was like, I want to know why y'all not having this issue. I was like, yeah, no, nobody's husband should be texting nobody else. I'm like, girl, we're not doing this with y'all. It's like, I don't understand why this was okay. And the bad part about it is, during the after show, when it came up to like what Drew said, she was just like, I mean, that was just my thought. And I'm like, Candy is the woman who literally is like, let me be walking away from you, I'll be blowing up on your ass. I'm like, see, this is why I'm like, why are they on the after show together? Because that doesn't make any sense. And the thing about it, she's like, that was just my thought. She didn't say like, she didn't apologize, Candy, or in any way. Like, look, that was just a thought. It was a quick thought. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to say she should have apologized, but it's kind of like she was just like, I said what I said. It's like,
yeah.
And it was like, Candy was just like, girl, what's the next question? She was looking like, what's the next question?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not doing, I will cover this at the reunion, and I hope they did, because it's like, Drew, what is happening? Because the bone collector had no problem going back and telling Candy what you said. She's like, I was going to tell you, but you know, it got to you first. I'm like, because you fucking told Sheree. Like, girl, what?
I think Candy's just proving she can work with anyone at any time. She
like, okay.
care.
Because even when Marlo was on Watch What Happens Live, she was like, even though, and I think someone said, "How do you feel about her?" I don't know, maybe it was the after show because I watched both at the same time, and they're like, "How do you feel about Candy saying she's cool?" And you're like, "Well, I'm cool on Candy." It's like, you know, at the end of the day, we respect each other, and they can work together. I'm like, Candy can work with any of y'all. Hence why it's like if they do the big refresh, that's why I said it's if they have to pick which one, I am picking Candy because Candy can not fucking stand your ass and still work with you. Hello, she's in Escape.
Yeah, true.
And she's ready to go back out on tour with that sister, okay? The lady who's doing the gospel music. So it's like, yeah, Candy know how to like, girl, none of you bitches gonna stop my bag.
No, it's true. I don't know, man. Candy has that thing about her. She does not play, and she knows how to be that professional. I love it for her.
Oh, I'm like, I love this for us. I love this for us. We can really talk about Atlanta for one time, but I want to get one more at length, but one more Bravo thing, and it feels like it's a Bravo thing, but it's not really because this heifer is not on Bravo. But Bethany Frankel has decided to be, I guess, the Paul Revere for reality entertainers, where she is like, she reveals she has names of reality. It says Bravo, but it's a reality because apparently it's Jersey Shore and everybody else on here. About 80 people calling for a union.
Okay, so many thoughts. First and foremost, and I just want to get this out of the way so then when I go downhill, you can remember I said at the top. All right. It's going to go downhill quick. It is going to go downhill quick. Okay, first things first. I support unionized labor. Okay. My family is union, household, family. I ain't in one now, but I support the movement. You know, I'm raised on that. So I support it 100%. Do I think reality stars, housewives, all these folks need a union? Kind of like the actors, the writers, all them good folks? Absolutely. Do I think Miss Bethany has some great points in there? 1,000%. That's about where the good part ends. I think that's it. So do I support it? Yes. Do I think it's a good idea? Absolutely. Do I think they need it? Sure. Are there valid points? Yes. But here are the three things. One, Bethany is not the right messenger. And unfortunately, sometimes the messenger does matter because they can get shot, and she is getting shot at. So that's my first thing. I don't think she's the right messenger. Part 1A or 1B is, in addition to her being the wrong messenger, she centers everything around herself. And I have a serious problem with that. Bethany makes it about me, and if I get it, you all will win. But I'm like, man, it's not about you, it's about the collective. And then the final part, yes, she has listed out folks who have gotten in touch with her. Now, I could be wrong as of right now, but the last time I checked and the last I heard, I didn't hear the mention of one woman or person who was Black on that list. So I'm not just saying this as a Black woman, but I think it's important that you have talent of color because, I mean, it's just facts. Historically, they've always been left out of the conversation. And furthermore, and I guess this is kind of tying in the Nene Leakes of it all. I mean, Nene was one of the first people to kind of come out and speak out in the reality space about mistreatment, injustices against her. Now, whether you agree with Miss Leakes or not, whether you find her believable or not, but if someone on Bethany's platform truly felt this way, was truly passionate about it, she would have picked up the phone and called Miss Leakes. And according to Miss Leakes, they have conversations. So it's not like they're strangers. And even if she never had her current phone number, she could have gotten it. But this just kind of sounds very self-serving. Do I think it's a good idea? Again, yes. Were there valid points? Absolutely. Bethany's just not the right messenger for me.
She has never been the right messenger because she can't relay a message that does not center herself. So to watch her literally do this coup, and the fact that she could literally name drop people in a way that is just like, wait, what? So in her ET interview, she listed Hannah Burner, Caitlin Bristow, Chrissy Teigen. I'm like, I like how Chrissy had never told people how to really pronounce this woman's name, so everybody been pronouncing it wrong. And it's like, well, it's your damn fault because you ain't tell us. It's Teigen, not Tegan. Jay Wow, people from Love is Blind. Love is Blind, I'm actually not surprised by because they actually have been talking about the conditions on Love is Blind. So it's like they literally have been out here. The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Below Deck, Vanderpump Rules, Summer House, and then she mentioned Paige DeSorbo. She also includes Tom Sandoval and Stassi Stroder. And I'm sitting like, yeah, it's funny. The people that's really like, yeah, we should get a union. I think Renna is also quote unquote up in the mix. I'm like, yeah, look at the people who are saying you should pay us or get like we should have residuals from shows. All of this, that, and the third. And I'm just sitting here like, so yeah, you ain't named no person of color yet, except for Chrissy Teigen, but she ain't no reality star.
I know, but also, I mean, when you think of OGs, okay, so yeah, you have Orange County, but right up there you have Atlanta, right? And not to bring it back to the Carlos interview, but I have to. When Nene said she was paid $10,000 for the entire
first season, it's like what?
With a 5,000, I think, thing for the reunion. So reunion included plus the seasons for the first. So she was essentially, hold on, I'm not good at math. So 15 times. Yeah. She was essentially paid $1,500 per episode because I'm saying it's 10 episodes. I'm just,
so that's the thing about the whole thing about reunions, because they didn't start getting paid for reunions. The reason why a lot of the housewives are getting paid for reunions is because of the cast of Atlanta who all got together back because they weren't getting paid for filming the reunion. And they were like, so then they decided there was that one reunion where they were like, oh yeah, everything's fine. And Andy was like, wait, what is going on? And they all did that because they were like, we don't get paid for filming for like 12, 13, 14, 16 hours. They wouldn't pay them for doing this. And then that's how like housewives, like going forward with reunions, that's how the bitches started getting paid. Jersey's the only one who pays the husbands. It's like, if it wasn't for the women in Atlanta going, yeah, we can link up. I'm like, why y'all not paying this? Do you know this is, I'm sitting in this damn corset all fucking day arguing with bitches. Like, what? Pay me. Yeah. And they do. And so it's kind of like, but she said 10,000. I was like, what? It's like, hello, Gina and the Casita, her first season got like, what, $60,000?
That part.
For Orange County. I'm like, girl, what?
And Atlanta was the highest rated for years and years and years. So that's what I'm saying.
It's like,
the fact that Bethany, and I'm sure they're one of the most streamed. So the fact that no one from that cast was invited or mentioned or no outreach was done. Again, I think, there's a problem there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because it was kind of like, Bethany, it's like, I'm sorry, why are you doing this? Like, Bethany, you are the reason why there's such thing as a Bethany clause. And you're like, I played the game and I know what is good. I'm like, let's be very clear. Heffa, the reason why there's like, you are the Bethany clause, like, I paid it right. I'm like, no, they didn't fucking like think that you could make any money from the fucking show. Let's be very clear. It's not because you were smart. They just won. You're not smart. You're not smart. They just didn't think. I'm like, what? Like, Roni is like, what's Bethany going to do? And then they figured it out. I was like, whoa, you actually can get more free production. Hence why Candy be talking about all her goddamn businesses. She's like, hello, I can put it on this show. Y'all can take y'all little percent, but I'm going to do hand over foot. Because I'm like, hello, Bedroom Candy's 10 years old. I'm like, damn, that's still her. Yeah. I didn't realize what she said. I'm like, damn, she's smart. The one, Bethany, you're not the smart one. Candy's the smart one. Because, ma'am, you have a one and done on so many shows. You ruined your friendship with Frederick because y'all no longer cool. You mess it up with homeboy that produced The Survivor. It's like, ma'am, you're not as smart. Because one, you were shitting on people who were reviewing like housewife shows. Then your ass is like, let me start a housewife recap show.
Come on. Mm-hmm.
What? It's like you talk about TikTok. It's like, I want to say what I want. But if somebody say anything about you on TikTok, allegedly you send them cease and desist, ready to sue them. I'm like, wait a minute, time out, homegirl. Have you gotten anything from the palace? Because it seemed like you have a lot to say about Meghan and Harry and God knows who else, or the Kardashians. I'm sorry. So on HBO Max, there's a documentary like Kim versus Kanye, the divorce. They have 2 episodes. It's from Kim's side and from Kanye's side. I'm like, if y'all saying Kris Jenner is as powerful as y'all say she is, how the hell she ain't wearing out Bethany to drive by now?
Exactly.
It's like, wait, man, Bethany, you got a whole bunch of thoughts and fifis about everybody, but they better not have no thoughts about you. And the bad part about it is, it's like, Nene was blacklisted. I know they're like, no, she wasn't. No, she kind of was. Because how is Bethany getting cooked? It's like, the thing about it is because Nene alleged that Andy was racist. Sir, Andrew, you used to boast that you and Bethany were neighbors. Y'all are friends. You could call her up. And this is your friend. This is your friend. This is why I'm like, hello. This is why I was Team Carol on that season. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm Team Carol on this. I don't know what the fuck Bethany thinks she's talking to. I'm like, nope, Team Carol. I'm still Team Carol. This is exactly why I stayed Team Carol. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? And then they pulled up old tweets from Bethany where she was literally defending Bravo and saying Aviva was a liar. Wow. So in 2018, thank you, Reality Blurb. In a 2018 tweet, after reading that Aviva had said she sometimes felt forced to drink on the show, Bethany fired back at the allegations. Hello, Aviva Dressler. As the person responsible for putting you on Roni, listen to that, I take offense to you misrepresenting the truth and saying producers prodded you to drink. As someone here since day one with 13 years of reality TV experience, it is a flat-out falsehood. Is this y'all queen? Is this your king? Is this y'all king? Because I'm like, baby, Bethany is not doing this for anybody except herself. Here's the thing. Y'all can say what y'all want about Lanicia Leaks. She never say this, her suit was about anybody else except herself. Bethany is lying to y'all. She ain't doing this for everybody else. She's doing this for herself. Nene's talking about how I was treated. And y'all like, how dare she talk about Bravo? And the bad part about it is the fact is she can find reality people who would literally stand with her. Also, the other thing, Nene was not the only person that alleged that Andrew does the booger sugar. At least 2 people already did it. And both of them have been back on Bravo. One of them has been on Girls Trip at least twice, and she came and started a whole thing on Beverly Hills. I'll let you take one guess. Homegirl had no problem saying that, and she's never been uninvited. It's like that is some bullshit. I'm like, the thing about this, I used to be a Bethany fan, and this makes me so annoyed. And I'm like, how did I not see how self-serving she was? And it's like, you ever just look at like things and like, this should have been a red flag when she told Jill, you need to get a hobby. Like, listen, how did you turn into Jill Zarin right now? Even with Jill coming on her podcast, afterwards, like, I didn't do this because I'm like, we ain't gonna be friends. I was like, oh my God, I don't even want to talk to her. I'm like, so why the fuck are you inviting her on your podcast for content?
Honestly, because it was self-serving, because she knew it would bring in folks. She was trying to have the equivalent of the Carlos Nene effect.
Yeah, and it's like their interview, and it's like I've seen other people who were talking about it who were like, I'm not even a Nene fan, and I really like this interview. And I'm like, because one, I think there's something about Carlos that is just endearing. And I know people like have their thoughts and fifis. I got my own. But I think what it is to actually say, I don't think what happened to you is fair, because it wasn't. But to see how much he actually does care about Atlanta, because Atlanta, along with Jersey, was his babies. It's like, that's why it's like him being Team Teresa is literally on brand. He's like, what the hell is she talking about? No, that's a lie. Nope, I was there. No, I know exactly what happened. And Teresa's like, thank you. She was laying on the floor like Siggy Flicker. This is all I ever wanted.
No, it's true, but here's the thing. I also think there's a mutual respect there.
Correct.
I'm not so sure if there is that level of respect for Jill. I don't think Bethany has.
She
the
doesn't
same.
have it. She doesn't have
So
it.
for that reason, you're not going to have that magic. Now, I know folks have things to say and fact checking Nene and all that stuff. And look, it is valid. However, this is the closest we are ever going to get, at least for right now. Things can change in the future, of Nene having a safe space where she could tell her truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's not the truth. It is
It's just her
truth.
Yeah.
And that's all that is. And I feel like everyone just wants that safe space now because she's a public figure and she's been living in the public eye for so long. This was her safe space to tell her truth. So yes, was it a very cushy, very little pushback? Because I know folks out here be saying these things. However, it was supposed to be that way. Because your therapist is not going to be combative with you now, are they? They're going to listen to what you have to say. They'll ask some gentle questions pointing in that direction, but ultimately you have to find your own way because your therapist ain't going to tell you what to do. So I think that's what it was. This was as close to reality TV therapy for Nene, her sharing her truth, not the truth. I'll say it again. And I was here for it. Like, I ate up every word. I watched it. I listened to it. It was, I have to tell you, I was happy to see her back on the screen. Now, as someone who showed up to work, gave the show her all, gave up her marriage, got her marriage back, is going through what she was going through with her boys, which I have to say, I appreciated her just being real about the situation with her son and recognizing she has to let go as a parent. Again, if you're someone there who had to deal with stuff like that or have family members, I have family members who are struggling with that. It just reminded me, like, yep, even someone like her, you know, and people out there seeing it and recognizing what she's going through, but in the same breath, this woman put television on the map. And hey, if she thinks she should be bigger than Kim K, then more power to her. That's her truth. However, I'm just out here saying I don't think she was fairly treated because I don't know why people believe Nene Leakes and her interaction with NBC Universal is different from what happens to people like her in the real world. Because that ain't a safe space from problematic behavior. And if that's happening in the real world, I can't even imagine what she must have experienced. Because in my opinion, the fact that y'all gave them $10,000 and a bonus $5,000 at the end, and you felt good in yourself that that was enough, even after the series and the show became a hit and a banger, and they had to fight for it because y'all were happy to exploit them at the time. Because again, this was the beginning. No one knew where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And they were doing these things. I'm sorry. I feel that there is room for other experiences. And just because Bethany is saying things now, people can hear it. But again, Nene never felt heard. So I feel, again, this is the reason why she did the Carlos interview. She could feel heard. And again, just speak her truth, because I'm sure right now she's probably rolling her eyes and saying, see, now Bethany is talking about this. And again, it's a separate context. I get it. But people are giving her the kudos that I don't think Nene ever got. Nene just wants to be appreciated. I think that's the truth. She just wants to be appreciated.
Exactly. Because I think this would speak differently if Bethany had brought this forward and centered Nene around this and said,
or brought a group of women.
Right. It's kind of like, instead of just going, I'm doing this, I'm like, Heifer, you said you are never coming back to Roni. You're not going to film reality. So what the hell are you talking about? But if she was just like, you know what? I don't like the way that Nene was treated, and then used that as a springboard for everybody like who has done a reality show to get residuals. Because I do actually agree with that. It's like y'all can have literally reruns and whole marathons of housewife shows. And the thing about it is, I'm surprised you ain't talking more about the people below deck. The person that they have quoted from below deck is Eddie, and I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, girl, shut the hell up. Like, kidding me right now? Eddie, girl, if you don't swim in the Chesapeake Bay and leave us alone, It's like, shut up. It's like that. So the thing about it is, like, Bethany is not the person, but the thing about it is, Bethany is not the person that's going to lay out the carpet for somebody else to walk on. She going to want you to stand behind her and stand in and like shiver in her shadow. This is how she has been, and it's so whack to me. And the thing about it is, it's like, Bethany's who y'all think Lanithia Leaks truly is. It's like, she's just as, like, if y'all saying that Nene is delusional, that is your opinion. However, so is Bethany. She just has money to cushion her fall.
100%. And the thing is, she wants you to know that she laid out this carpet. So not only are you behind her in her shadow, she wants you to know, I made this carpet. This is a reason why you're able to walk on it. And the other thing I'll add is, this is how I know it was more of a moment and not a movement. Anyone who's involved in any form of activism, the one thing you know is you can't do it alone. You need other like-minded people and other things. Now, she has a whole bunch of people on her speed dial. She could have put out an open call to action and have people get in touch. They could have their little kiki behind the scenes, share experiences, share stories, and make a plan, and then come out together in full force, even if she wants to be the ringleader. But the thing is, include the voices of other people. And I didn't get that from her. So yes, people will say in the back channels, oh yeah, I sign on, and she has this list of people, but okay, so now what we're going to do?
Because now it's like, she can use that list as blackmail for you. Please don't piss her off. Because it's like, you only named 3 people, but you're saying you got 80 reality stars. And I'm like, you can take the Love is Blind people off, because there's been several of them who have been very, very vocal about what happened. So it's kind of like, Love is Blind is their own silo. Because it's not like, this is not the first time. There's been several of them who have talked about it. But the fact about, so it's like, when we think of allies, Bethany is not the one, because she's not prepared to lose anything, because even in this, she don't think she's losing anything. She's gaining a whole bunch of other people to follow. She feels like she is gaining something. When she went to the MTV Awards and they gave her like reality star of the decade or whatever it was, the fact that a lot of people didn't even know who the fuck she was when she was like, I think she said mention it all or whatever, and they were just like, girl, who are you? If this had been Nene Leakes, it would have been a whole different conversation. Hell, if it was New York Tiffany Pollard, if it been Tammy Roman, like, there are people who are better reality stars on you, because guess what? They're not shitting on their stuff. Nene just said, I don't feel like I was treated well. But she wasn't. Exactly. There's a lot of people who share that. And the thing about it is, they shunned Nene. They ain't shunned Bethany. I'm like, the ego of Nene, oh baby, she does not rival Victoria Gunvalson or Teresa Giudice. Y'all let them have that. She don't rival Tamara Judge. She don't rival, hell, Josanna, Ramona Stinger, Sonia Morgan, Luann de Lesseps, Whitney Wild Rose. There's a lot of bitches up on these Bravo shows. They got a whole big old Captain Sandy. I've heard stories about Captain Sandy. So she is not all that different. But again, hell, Lisa Vanderpump. It's like, baby, there is a list of these white Bravo and reality stars who got bigger egos, or the same, if you're like level of delusion, if that's what y'all want to say, that's fine if that's when you do it. Baby, Lanithia is no unicorn. But let's be very clear. Bravo didn't even believe in the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because that's not the first all-black franchise. It's Potomac. It was not Atlanta, because they did not think they could sell an all-black cast. That's why they put Kim and her wig up on that show. That's why Carrie was on first season of Married to Medicine. They didn't think an all-black cast would work.
I'm telling you.
It's like, get the fuck out my face. It's like, please stop. Bethany is not, this is not, y'all queen is not your kingdom, because let me just tell you something. She is definitely for a moment, and it's never for a movement, because the minute that this shit don't work, she going to be off to another project, probably going to do another podcast.
And here's the thing, and the public will let her do it while they're forever hold whatever they're holding over Nene's head.
They will not let that go.
Eternity. Yeah, they won't. It's
like, it's just pathetic.
It really is, and it's really sad. But my phone just gave me an alert. ABC news. Tory Lanez sentenced to 10 years.
I saw that too. And I was like, we got to find a way we're going to talk about this. Cause I'm like, celebrate good times. Come on. I'm like, the fact that he got 10 years, I don't know if did say he got parole and part of it, I kind of don't care. The fact that you spend any time, listen here, Canadian bacon, anytime you go into the big house, I'm like, that is good. Cause you played in people's faces. And when they said letters of support and Iggy Azalea, I'm like, you mean that white Australian woman who talks like she got like a southern accent? I'm like, that bitch is from Australia. Literally. I was like, and it's like, the thing about it is, you got built up by black men, and then even it was too late. The monster was loose, T.I. Y'all built, listen here, Frankenstein, come get your monster. Cause now she loose. And y'all are surprised? Not. I am surprised about 10 years because I'm like, thank you, because that's the way he was playing in people's faces. I hope Megan Thee Stallion's having a very good day. And baby, please, I hope she kept the list of the names of people who played in her face about this whole thing. I really hope she got a list.
Listen.
Like Arya Stark. Keep your list, honey.
Well, I have to say I'm happy to hear this verdict. The only question now is, does he get deported? But either way,
okay, because I'm like, wait, I'm just Canadian. I was like, Canadian.
I'm just glad for Megan. I am team victims, women, all the folks, theys, the gays, everybody. I don't care. You're a victim. I'm team victim first and foremost. But yeah, just to kind of see this news, I'm just like, okay, thank you. Good.
It's like, I'm like, just thank you. It's like, yeah, because girl with the blue blazes is like, absolutely not. Okay, I think we have time for one more topic. I really do want to talk about book talk, but I feel like we need more time for this.
We need more time.
We need a whole lot because I'm like, girl, the rabbit hole on, I swear, TikTok will have you going down rabbit holes. I now go down rabbit holes I went down with book talk, water talk. It has been a chokehold, but I stay hydrated, so I'm fine. Let's see. I am down with the am I the asshole wormhole, which is either somebody's baking a cake or you got these little games where somebody runs and someone's reading Am I the Asshole from Reddit, and I'm like, what? Listen to something. Oh my god, they did what? See, I'm stuck. So Victoria, you got to come back and we got to talk about book talk versus the self-proclaimed queen of book talk, and all the black book talkers are like, girl, we don't fuck with her. And then it's like the dangers of teams going, this is cute, and now it didn't get uncute. So yeah, you got to come back. So the last thing I want to talk about is we were rolling on the river down in Alabama, and people, it was very much a fuck around and find out. I said, girl, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? Because at first I didn't see because TikTok had all the videos, then Twitter had all the videos where it was literally, I'm like, it's so funny. We started with the boat show, now we got another boat show. It's like, how we got another boat show? So in Montgomery, Alabama, there was a brawl on the riverfront. So a family who had a personal boat or their own private boat was sitting in the space of a public boat named the Harriet. Of course, the thing is named the Harriet, where it's like and they said it was a security guard at first. It actually was the co-captain of the boat telling this boat that they need to move. And the family and their drunk asses decided that they were not going to move. They were yelling at the guy. They were squaring up. The co-captain threw his hat in the air, which is literally the universal bat signal for black people. Like, girl, something about to happen. And so it was a group of them on the boat. There's like 4 or 5 guys, and they started to beat up the co-captain. All of a sudden, you saw men running down to the waterfront to come to this man. You see a man like swimming. They're like, girl, what the hell? Come to find out that man is actually on staff. That was a staff member from the boat. Young man who like literally swam from the boat to go and help this man. Then all of a sudden, after like They kind of separated. All of a sudden, these men with no shirts on out of nowhere came to square up with these white people. Some white woman got hit in the face with some chair because she fucked around and found out too because she was involved. And it was just like, girl, what is happening? It turned into the melee. People are like, what the hell happened? And so then there are now, warrants, and, the mayor of Montgomery talked about the folks that are they're getting arrested because guess what? There were warrants for their arrest. So, I'm sorry, it was a police chief. His name is Daryl Albert. Because I'm like, wait, it was like, so I was watching a little bit and I was far away and then I heard the person's voice. I'm like, that is a whole black man by the way he is talking. It was like, so the chief had a press conference to talk about the whole thing in general. So the other thing was that what people didn't know is that this had gone on for 45 minutes before everything that we saw. Yes. And it was like, wait a minute, what? 45 minutes? It's like, wait a minute. So Chief Daryl J. Albert, shout out to him, gave a press conference. So this is what he is saying. Richard Roberts, 48, was charged with 2 accounts of third-degree assault, and Alan Todd, 23, and Zachary Shipman, 25, were each charged with 1 such count. They were all the 3 guys that were on the boat. The woman that was on the boat is not named. The co-captain is not named. The young man who swam to freedom is also not named. But the co-captain of the boat, the man who, it started all, he threw his hand in the air. His name is Damian Pickett. He is the black co-captain of the riverboat. Okay. So it was kind of like, that was his name. And I was like, oh my gosh. But the fact that all of this you saw people having different opinions, but I love this. So I'm going to read a little bit from CNN for y'all. So the incident began at about 7 p.m. Saturday when the Harriet II riverboat carrying 227 passengers attempted to dock in its designated and reserved spot along the waterfront. But a private boat was docked in its space, and the boat owners responded to requests to move with obscene gestures, curse words, and taunting. Pickett, the co-captain, was picked up from the riverboat by another vessel and brought to the dock to try to have a conversation with the boat owners and get them to move. There, the boat owners confronted the captain in a very hostile manner and then attacked him, as the video shows. As the co-captain approached the dock and attempted to peacefully move the boat over just enough so that the Harriet could park, the owners of the boat confronted him in a very hostile manner. There were words exchanged, and then it turned into a fist encounter. The co-captain was doing his job. The fight was brought on by reckless individuals who did not use good judgment and caused an event that certainly was avoidable. This is from Mayor Stephen Reed. That said, the police department reacted very swiftly and very intentionally to address the matter, as did other citizens in the community. Lauren Spivey, a witness aboard the riverboat, told CNN they had been waiting for about 30 to 45 minutes for the small boat's owners to come and move it, but nobody came forward. She said an employee eventually went over to the small boat and started untying the vessel. And that's what we saw. That's the part of the video that I saw. He was untying it. And a man who appeared to be white ran over. Video of the interaction shows the employee and a group of white men get into a heated discussion. So the fact is, I find it hilarious that the demographic who tells Black and brown people, if somebody from authority is giving you instruction, you should follow them, literally is saying, fuck you, I ain't got to listen to you.
But we always knew it never applied to them. I mean,
no.
But no, listen, for the hood rules,
honey,
always fair.
Wait, hold on. Hat goes up, we throwing down. And the fact that it literally was like, wait, what is happening? Because those all the people, because they were like, he's just doing his job. Because it's like right before the fight started, there's a video and it's on TikTok where it's like these people from the boat, because there was a lot of people filming, and you can hear people chanting on boats, move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way. It's like, because they weren't that far from the boat. And the fact that we had to do all of this, y'all did not respect authority. I saw some random ass dude, like Jeff with the jean jacket or jean jacket Jeff, actually saying, no one say anything about the woman who got smacked in the face with a chair. That bitch shouldn't have been in the goddamn way. Or better yet, why didn't you tell your drunk ass friends or family, whoever the fuck they are, probably was one of them was probably your husband, just move the damn boat. Because you would expect that if that was an all-black family sitting on their boat, one, you would act like, y'all must have stolen this boat, but y'all would expect them to just move. Also, this is Alabama riverfront and the racist past about this. Baby, that right there, they brought slaves there. Why are y'all doing this?
No, here's the thing. They thought they, one, would have gotten away with it. The fact that after the and, you know, they just jumped back on their vessel like it was nothing. And the man was just there. They just figured like, okay, it's done. What they weren't banking on is that when that boat docked, the big one, the big one that was supposed to be there, that his co-workers would come set things straight. So again, like, okay, every time my husband and I have an argument or conversation, he's like, okay, you have to remember there's hood rules, then there's the legal rules. So for me, hood rules, they won. I agree with all their actions. Throw shit, get hit. Okay.
Talk shit, get hit. Because I'm sorry. It's like,
that's number one.
Like, get out of here.
But then part two is, if Uncle needs some money, if any of those stock workers need some money,
like we need some funds. Like, what's going on with Damien? How's he doing? I hope y'all. He's on PTO, paid for by his
paid time off.
PTO better. It's like, baby,
legal
take care
fees, of it. GoFundMe's, whatever, bail money. Send it my way, because honestly, that just reminded folk, you know, with a brain, that entitlement is real. They don't think the rules apply to them. And yeah, it's clear that's how they've lived their lives normally.
Yeah.
And they didn't care to listen to any kind of authority. So they never cared. But yeah, throw shit, talk shit, get hit.
It's
sorry.
like, yeah, y'all fucked around and y'all definitely found out. I saw a couple of white people like, if this was a gang of white people celebrating, it wouldn't be the same way. Hi, y'all did kind of do that, you know, on January 6th, 2021, when y'all literally stormed the fucking Capitol and were doing all sorts of shit, and y'all were cheering.
And let's be very clear. What that man did was not wrong. Okay. Correct. And then y'all gave him a beat down. And then his people saw what happened and they were just waiting, man. They were
like, what the hell are y'all
doing? Yeah, because it's mental. Now, what I will say is that would not fly in Fort Lauderdale. There's so many places that have designated taxis, big boats to come in. You know, they have cotton off areas. So if they saw a boat in the place, they gave them notice. They said, hello, move your boat, move your boat, move your boat. If you're not down there in 5-10 minutes, they are moving it for you. So again, this is just a clear reminder to me that these people are just used to behaving badly, and they were doing things.
Yeah. It's just like for the culture, that felt like a beautiful thing. And they're white people like, I know it's not about me, but I mean, what should I do? Should I like an elbow or do whatever you need to do? But I will say, and I'm glad that Hope Giselle brought this up, because I do actually kind of agree with her. That we can't ignore that, because one, all we're seeing is just a black man getting beat up by a group of white men. That's all we see.
Correct.
But her point was that if this was somebody who was visibly queer or visibly trans, would y'all have jumped in the way that y'all did? And the thing about it is, the fact that actually has to come to your mind is kind of sad.
It is.
It's like, because you shouldn't have to do that. Because I still remember a couple weeks ago, a black woman was being yelled at by a black man in a hot dog stand. And then she got punched 2 or 3 different times. And there were a whole bunch of men around her who did nothing. And then her child was like, yeah, you gonna fuck around and find out. And it was like, yeah. It's like the bad part about it is when you add intersections to blackness, it's kind of like you don't, and that's the bad part. It's kind of like you go, damn it, okay. And it's like, you don't want to think that, but it's kind of like, it's like, what if that was a black woman? Hopefully y'all would still swim across the goddamn river to get to me, and y'all would run down. Hopefully y'all would. But it's like, the thing about it, that shouldn't be like a nagging thought at all. And the fact that it is like, y'all. It's like, the thing about it is, if there wasn't clear excuses, excuse me, O'Shea Sibley was literally unalived by a 17-year-old dancing to Beyonce. That just happened. So it's like, it's not wild for Hope Giselle to bring that up. It's like, oh, it's not wild for her to bring it up. Oh, because one, I'm sorry, if I would have saw O'Shea dancing in a gas station to Beyonce, I'd be like, bitch, turn that up.
Exactly.
The queen is on tour. But the fact that he was literally unalived by a 17-year-old. 17. It's like, girl, what is happening right now? That's a 17-year-old. You were too young to be filled with so much hate. Ugh. That's way too young. And that boy, that man deserves to be there. He deserves to still be here dancing. What if he had tickets to Beyonce and now he can't even see it? I'm like, y'all, that is not a joke when I make this. I'm like, the thing about it is, you should be able to be free to dance, to do whatever the fuck you want to do if you're paying for gas to put in your car. And literally living and minding your business. Nobody should be unalive for literally living how they want to live authentically. And no one would know. It's kind of like, it should never take the wind out of your sails to celebrate a Black man being uplifted and people coming to his defense when a white mob is like literally beating on him. It's like, so when Hope mentioned that, it made me think about Sandra Bland's family when they were celebrating the verdict for George Floyd, and she was like, I was happy, and then I just realized Sandra not here, and she's never going to get justice. It's like, no, that should not be a thought. And the bad part about it is, and it was like, oh shit. Imagine like your family member or friend was unalived by unfairly, and then you're watching like, oh my God, you're getting justice, and you're like, my family member's never going to get that.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's
very bittersweet.
And, my thing to folks out there is, I get not everyone can jump in the moment and act, but if you can't do it, call for someone who can.
Correct.
Call for someone who can. Anyone. Beg, plead.
Yeah.
For someone. Because just think about it. If it were you, your loved one, whoever you hold near, you would want someone calling out and helping or doing something to help them.
Yeah.
Because we all deserve to live whatever life we choose. It doesn't matter. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me on choices, but it doesn't matter. It's just, I think we've lost the value of human life. I feel for some folks, it's like there is no value. We've lost some sense of humanity. That's why I'm like, slow down and breathe.
Yeah.
Think, but also, act. You can't just be passers-by, because that's mind-blowing to me. I'm like, a gas station, for real.
Like, I was like, gas station? I was like, when they said, I'm like, wait, was it like a fight and it turned violent? It's like, wait, it wasn't? So what the hell? Why would you do it to him? It's not his damn business. Like, what?
But that's a world.
Come on, y'all. It's like, people be mind. It's like, mind the fucking business that pay you. And you minding his business at a gas station when it's like, hello, what? Come on, y'all. Just, but
doing too much.
Tori you are going to jail, penitentiary.
Yes, that's the best.
I'm sorry. Like we go from celebrating one Black man to another. I'm like, why? Because that man played in her face and acted like he did not shoot. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm like, I ain't shoot her directly. That woman lied for you, and your bitch ass decided to actually open your mouth. You do realize she would have took this shit to her grave if you had not shut the hell up, baby. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That is how I see it for Mr. Lanes. That's not your real name. Listen here, Daystar, enjoy prison. Or not. Much. I mean, I know your daddy probably somewhere trying to put a root on Megan somewhere, because whatever.
Exactly.
Y'all, we are so terrible. We play too much. I'm like, we put a root. Like, how do you know that? I'm like, you ain't hear what that what Sunstar said? I'm like, oh, y'all these dumbass. let me shut up. I'm not gonna talk about nobody what they name their children. I ain't gonna say nothing. But y'all, we are gonna get out of here. I can talk to Victoria for hours. And I usually do, by the way. Usually do. But before we get out of here, Victoria, thank you so much for being here. Please tell everybody where they can find you. Bibliolifestyle, the place where it's like, hey, I need to find a good surplus of places to find a book. I'm like, please go there. It's like, please. Yes. She had a whole you had a whole festival or a conference. I was like, what?
Yes, and we do have a literary festival coming up again. We're hosting it in September. It's free plus tax. It's free. So
free plus tax.
No tax. It's free. But join us September 21st to 23rd. It's the Epigraph Literary Festival. We're currently finalizing the lineup. Author announcements, the whole scheduling, everything will be announced September 1st. But mark your calendars, it's going to be September 21st, Thursday, September 22nd, Friday, and all day Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, it's in the evening. So it's 6 p.m. Eastern time. We usually wrap up by 9. It's a good time. So authors will be sharing their books. We'll be talking about books as well. So yes, if anyone's looking for an escape, whether it's a romance, whether it's a mystery, whether it's a thriller, visit bibliolifestyle.com. If you want book recommendations, there are categories there. So if you want the classics, you can find the classics. If you want the new releases, you can find the new releases. Spent quite a bit of time organizing the website. So whatever you're looking for, you can find something there. And you can follow me, Bibliolifestyle, on all platforms.
Please do. I had a ball last year because, Dave Quinn was there talking about his book, but it's like, hello, any excuse to talk about it. I'm like, hello, housewives. This is my thing. Okay.
Not all diamonds and roses.
Yes. I was like, come on, books. I was like, it was just so fun. It was great to see the interaction with different artists, different authors. And they're just like, oh, I like this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and the best part is, that you can hear the authors sharing about their book. So, it's not just the person recommending it. You kind of get the true intention behind it, the inspiration. It's spoiler free, but you can discover a new book. So if something sounds like it speaks to you, definitely give that book a try. You can, again, you don't have to be buying these books. Go to your library, utilize your library. Okay, people out here paying taxes for the library, so utilize the library.
Okay.
Percent. And I do author interviews on the Reader's Couch podcast, so you can tune in there if you're looking for something a little different. We have fiction, non-fiction, again, all genres. It's a good time.
Yes, please, y'all, because I know I'm not the only bookworm out there. I'm somebody who's a library person. You'll be hard pressed to see me buy a book. I'm like, if I buy a book, I'm like, I really want either one of the author or the book, but I am somebody who enjoys getting lost in libraries and would get bags full of books. I get that from my mama, quite frankly, because she's a bookworm.
Oh, I love that.
She is the best. So guys, thank you. This has been the Mocha Minutes podcast. I will be back after my birthday because I am enjoying it. I am a Leo. I hear what y'all saying. Don't get mad at me because we shine and we are leaders. Okay, it's me and Barack Obama, Viola Davis, and Chris Hemsworth. We all have the same birthday. So does Terry, the wrestler that I refused. I can't. Hulk Hogan. Couldn't even think of this man's name.
Gotcha.
He has the same birthday. Girl, we don't claim him. I was like, there's some Leos. I'm like, I ain't claiming them. And then other ones I do, like Barack Obama and Viola Davis. Yeah, I claim them.
Yes.
Anyway, because look here, if Virgos can claim Beyonce, which is huge, okay? People, I'm gonna list all the Leos. I'm trying to think of all the ones. August ones. I'm kidding. July Leos are fine, you guys. I love them. I just found out literally a few weeks ago, one of my favorite aunts is a Leo. I'm like, because I found it, because one is kind of like when you're like, you celebrate her birthday, but it didn't even dawn. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm like, yep, that's why and my mother's like, you didn't know that before? You two act so much alike. Because my father would always say, you act just like your aunt. dang. It's like you and her, y'all act just alike. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, we do.
That explains a lot. Well, I hope you have a happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here, Victoria. Y'all, she will be back because I'm like, she gotta come back because we are talking about this book talk thing or other stuff.
To talk about it.
Because I was like, girl, it's so much nuance. And I'm like, oh.
I think that actually needs an episode in itself almost. Or
it really does. So yeah, y'all, we're gonna schedule because we're gonna talk about it because I didn't see that's what happens when it's not your genre of TikTok and you're like, wait, what is happening right now? It's like, oh
yes, it's a conversation. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so that means see y'all. That just means Victoria's gonna be back. Okay, y'all. Yes. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Yep, we're gonna talk about it. Like, why are y'all mad? He shot somebody, it's time to go to jail. It's not rocket science. Y'all always be like, free the homies after they done shot, killed, and robbed from everybody in the whole wide world. Go directly to jail, do not pass go, and do not collect $200. Bye. Like, I see some of y'all saying 10 years is too much, like he gave her a COVID vaccine shot. This was a shot from a gun. Like, would 10 years be too much if that was your mom, your auntie, your grandma, your niece, or even you? Would it be too much if that was you? I bet not. Cause I ain't see y'all go this hard when Remy mom was in jail for shooting her friend over a stack. Shot her friend in the stomach and had to lean back in jail for like 6-7 years. And because Meg not crippled or she not dead, y'all feel like it didn't happen because she's okay. And that's so backwards and weird to me. Because let me guarantee you this. If that was Kylie Jenner, Kris Jenner, and that Pixie Cut would have had Tory in jail a long time ago. I see all these different narratives talk about how y'all black and happy that a black man going to jail. He got a son. He knew he had a son too when he did it. I'm also seeing people have done worse and do less time. Y'all, we know the odds are always against us. That's why I don't know why y'all out here reckless and do whatever y'all want to do. They do not like us. They want to lock us all up. So I don't know why y'all out here acting like y'all unlockable characters. Y'all are lockable. The sad part is it never had to get here because she wasn't even trying to press charges at first. She was not on that type of time. But when you do anything for clout and that ego get involved, it's a wrap. I just hate when stuff like this happen because everybody swear they're lawyers, swear they're in law school, swear they're Annalise Keaton, and swear they know everything because they seen Ghost and Tommy get out of jail on Power so many times. Y'all don't know nothing. Have y'all not noticed how Tory's defense has changed over time? It went from Megan was never shot, to Megan was shot but it wasn't by me, to Megan was shot by her best friend Kelsey, to now I have childhood trauma and I'm an alcoholic and my dad was never there in my life, but my dad is screaming outside of the court. Like, come on now. Like, if y'all want to be dense and just be like, free Tory because y'all love his music and y'all hate that he going to jail, then say that. But don't make it seem like y'all actually care because y'all do not care at all. Because y'all only care for the moment. The next big black scandal can happen tomorrow and y'all going to be on it like white on rice and forget about this whole situation. Moral of the story is put that alcohol down. At your big age, you should know how much you can drink, how much you cannot drink before you turn into a lunatic and a maniac. If you don't, stop drinking. Drink some water. Megan, I hope you sue every blogger and social media outlet that tried to play on your name and tried to sway the narrative of what was going on. And I hope you give Kelsey a good hold down Texas throwdown because she deserves it.